Hi, Hammers fans. Quick reminder, drop a like, hit subscribe, and leave your comment below. That way, you'll always be the first to catch every update about West Ham United. Tomasz Souček has become the kind of player every manager dreams of having. And if it's up to Nuno Espirito Santo, the Czech might end up playing in every position before the season ends. The Portuguese coach wasn't just happy with West Ham's 2 consecutive Premier League wins, he was genuinely thrilled by the way Souček decided both matches and showed yet another dimension of his game. Since arriving, Nuno has made it clear that he loves versatility. He isn't afraid to move pieces around, to switch players' positions, or to test someone in an unexpected role just to see what happens. That's what he did when he swapped Max Kilman and Jean-Claire Todibo's sides in defense, when he tried Ollie Scarles as a right back, and even when he used Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the left. Nuno wants to know how far his group can go to discover hidden qualities within his squad. And in that regard, Souček has been one of the biggest revelations, or perhaps just the confirmation of what every West Ham fan already knew. He always steps up when the team needs him most. With Nicholas Füllkrug injured, Nuno had to improvise up front. In the process of reshaping his attack, Jared Bowen and Lucas Paquetá both had a chance to play through the middle, while Callum Wilson returned to the starting 11. But in the middle of all that tactical adjustment, it was Souček who stole the show. Against Newcastle, he came off the bench with energy to spare and scored the decisive goal, acting almost like a number 9. 6 days later, against Burnley, he did it again, came on, pushed the team forward, and secured another win. Nuno himself, who faced Souček several times during his previous Premier League spells, admitted that stopping the Czech midfielder is a nightmare. According to the manager, Souček has a sense of space and confidence inside the box that very few players possess. He's the kind of player you think you've marked, but when you turn around, he's already found a new pocket of space and the ball is in the net. And there's more. Nuno didn't hold back when praising the midfielder. He pointed out that Souček has just reached 250 appearances for West Ham, a huge milestone, especially at a club that values commitment above everything else. The coach was direct. He gives everything, no matter the position. I think you could even play Souček as a fullback and he'd still deliver for us. It's the kind of statement that sums up perfectly the spirit Nuno wants to build within the team. A group willing to adapt, to fight, and to understand that the collective comes before everything else. Meanwhile, Callum Wilson continues to show that experience matters. The 33-year-old striker has scored in back-to-back games, closing in on the 100-goal mark in the Premier League. After the win over Burnley, he was all smiles. It was a massive win. We needed those 3 points, and we knew it wasn't going to be easy. Wilson highlighted the group's resilience, the ability to respond, and the mentality Nuno has been pushing, to run, to press, and to give everything until the final whistle. When asked about his goal, he explained what sounds simple, but reveals the sharp instinct of a real striker. It's all about anticipation. You can't stand still inside the box. If the ball drops and you're not ready, you miss your chance. That's not me. It was that very instinct that allowed him to react perfectly to Crescencio Somerville's effort and score from the rebound. That victory felt special, not just for the points, but for what it represented inside the dressing room. The unity seems stronger than ever, and the presence of veterans like Wilson and Souček gives balance to a team that blends youthful energy with experience. West Ham is slowly rediscovering its way of competing, with courage, hard work, and that touch of unpredictability that makes the fans smile. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the Claret and Blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. It's fascinating to think that only a few months ago, West Ham looked like a team without rhythm, without a clear identity, stuck somewhere between solid performances and games where nothing seemed to flow. The arrival of Nuno Espirito Santo changed everything. And the most impressive part is that he did it without tearing anything down. Instead of reinventing the squad, he adjusted the mechanisms. He changed positions, tweaked roles, rebuilt confidence. Suddenly, a predictable side became flexible, dynamic, and capable of shifting tempo mid-game. The way Nuno uses Tomasz Souček is the clearest reflection of that mentality. The Czech has always been known for his physicality and aerial strength, But under Nuno, he's being unleashed in a freer, more unpredictable way. The manager realized that Souček isn't just a midfielder who arrives in the box. He's a constant threat, someone who reads the game instinctively. When he comes on, opponents lose their shape. That's why Nuno calls him a nightmare to stop. He's the kind of player you think you've contained, yet he always finds a new angle, a new space to exploit. This adaptation also shows how much Nuno values intelligent players who understand the game's rhythm and can adapt to it. His West Ham side shifts personality during matches. Sometimes it attacks with speed, sometimes it waits and counterattacks. The concept is simple. Every player must be ready to perform more than one function. Souček has become the embodiment of that tactical philosophy. It's interesting how this approach echoes David Moyes' golden period at the club, especially during that incredible Conference League run. Back then, West Ham also played with intensity and structure, but Nuno seems to be searching for more fluidity, more creative freedom, especially in transitions. He's the type of manager who looks at a full-back and wonders if he could play in midfield, or sees a striker and asks, what if he starts deeper? The best example of this mindset is how he's handled Max Kilman and Jean-Claire Todibo at the back. He switched their sides just to see if the team could gain new patterns of movement and passing. It might sound minor, but these tweaks transform the way West Ham builds from the back. The same goes for Ollie Scarles, who's slowly learning to become a more complete fullback, one who can tuck inside and support midfield when needed. What really stands out, though, is the level of trust inside the group. When the manager decides Aaron Wan-Bissaka will play as a left-back, no one questions it. When he moves Lucas Paquetá into a forward role, everyone understands why. There's a collective purpose behind every decision. The players know these experiments aren't out of desperation, but part of a long-term plan. And when the results come, like in these two recent wins, the dressing room buys into the idea even more. Within that context, Souček has become the picture of reliability and effort. He's the kind of player who, even when starting on the bench, enters the pitch as if it's a cup final. Against Newcastle, he changed the game's course. Against Burnley, he did it again. 2 games, 2 goals, 2 moments that not only secured victories, but also reinforced the sense that West Ham is rediscovering the fighting spirit that makes the club special. But it's not only about goals, it's about leadership. Souček isn't the loudest voice in the dressing room, but he leads through action, his runs, his positioning, his awareness. That silent leadership spreads through the squad. When Nuno calls him a player who could even play fullback, he isn't exaggerating. He's acknowledging a professional who gives everything without complaint. At the same time, Callum Wilson is showing his resilience. At 33, after injuries and stops and starts, the striker still has fire in him. His reading of the game and movement in the box bring relief to a team that sometimes struggles to turn possession into goals. His link-up with Crescencio Somerville is starting to shine, and the equalizer against Burnley showed how well the two can combine. These small partnerships, these unexpected connections, are what bring hope back to the supporters. West Ham might not be a perfect team, but it's becoming alive again, a side that reacts, that feels the match, that plays with identity. And at the center of it all stands Nuno Espirito Santo, a coach who arrived quietly, observed carefully, and made the right changes without chaos. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the Claret and Blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. What's happening at West Ham right now goes far beyond simple wins. It's something deeper, almost emotional. The supporters can feel that the team has found its pulse again, that sense of belief returning. For those who've followed the club for years, that means everything. West Ham has always been about that. Fight, sweat, players who give everything. Nuno Espirito Santo's arrival seems to have reignited that flame, and figures like Tomáš Souček and Callum Wilson perfectly embody that spirit. Nuno quickly understood that West Ham fans don't just want tactics or pretty football. What they crave is commitment, players willing to fight for every inch of the pitch. When someone like Souček comes on and changes a match, he's doing more than scoring. He's sending a message that no one can take their place for granted, that even those on the bench can decide a game. It creates healthy competition, where everyone is desperate to prove themselves. That kind of mentality is what keeps historic clubs alive. West Ham's recent history has been a mix of highs and lows, but resilience has always been its backbone. Even when performances dropped, when criticism mounted, when the crowd grew frustrated, the spirit of the club never truly disappeared. Now, under Nuno, it feels like that spirit is resurfacing. 2 back-to-back wins might seem small on paper, but inside the dressing room, they represent a turning point, an emotional reset. Of course, the manager's project is still in its early stages. There are tweaks to be made, positions to adjust, matches that will still be inconsistent. But the most important part is already in place: belief. You can see it in the way the players move together. Nuno's West Ham plays with a shared rhythm, like a single body. When they lose the ball, they press as one. When they attack, they do it with conviction. And when they score, they celebrate as if they understand exactly what that moment means. The relationship between Nuno and Souček is central to that process. The coach treats him as a symbol of reliability, a player who embodies everything he wants the group to be. When he jokes about playing the Czech as a full-back, it's more than humor. It's a message to the squad that what matters most is the willingness to serve the team. Those who adapt, who sacrifice, who put the collective before themselves will be the ones to stay on this journey. And Souček understands that perfectly. He bridges 2 eras of West Ham. He lived the David Moyes years and the European triumphs, the unforgettable nights in London, and now fits seamlessly into Nuno's new philosophy. He's not just a player fulfilling a role, he's a pillar of continuity. When he scores, the stadium feels it. The fans celebrate not just the goal, but what it represents: effort, loyalty, and the preservation of identity. The same can be said for Callum Wilson, a veteran who, despite the injuries and age, still plays with hunger. He talks about putting his body on the line with a kind of honesty that says everything about him. He knows his career won't last forever, but he wants to enjoy every minute of it, every goal, every game. And that inspires the younger players, like Crysencio Somerville, who's growing with every match and learning from those who've been through it all. This blend of youth and experience is what gives the team its backbone. In the end, what Nuno is building is a culture of trust. He believes in his players, and they believe in him. That's the real foundation of any successful rebuild. Tactics mean nothing without belief. Talent is meaningless without unity. The difference now is that West Ham finally looks like a team with a shared purpose again. And that's why, when fans see Souček celebrating a goal or Wilson chasing a lost ball, they know something has changed. It's not just football anymore. It's identity. West Ham has become that club again, the one that plays with heart and pride. They might not have the most expensive squad or the flashiest names, but they have something far rarer: a genuine connection with their shirt. Perhaps that's Nuno Espirito Santo's greatest achievement so far. He hasn't just reorganized the team, he's given it meaning. He's turned versatile players into key figures, made veterans feel valuable again, and created space for youngsters to grow. In such a short time, he's done what many managers take years to accomplish: a united, competitive group that plays with emotion and identity. If this path continues, West Ham might not only climb the table, they might also reclaim something even more valuable: pride. The pride of seeing a team that reflects its supporters. And when that happens, no opponent is easy. Because a team that plays with purpose can lose on the scoreboard, but never in spirit. So that's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, share, and of course subscribe to the channel for more. Take care, and I'll see you next time.